Welcome to the Soon Podcast.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Soon Podcast. I'm Amandalyn, and I am a buyer and style curator. And this is my sister.
Hello, I'm Alyssa. I'm a functional health practitioner. And today we are going to be discussing so many good things. So, first of all, Amanda got her labs back from Function Health. It is like a crazy program, and they give you 5 million different lab analyses. And so, we're going to be going over a little bit of that today, discussing cholesterol, which, hint, hint, might give you a little intro into Amanda's lab results. And we might also talk about Traitors.
Okay, well, that all sounds fine and dandy. Let's start off with talking about my morning because it's been quite a hoot. So I went to hot Pilates this morning. Go me. I'm slaying the day. It literally kicked my ass. I feel like I've been doing really good, like with the movements. I've built myself up. I can handle it. I could not handle it today. So I was dead exhausted. I also had to sit in the middle of class, which is not usually my forte. And I feel like it was the hottest spot of
Ew.
class. I mean, it beats last week when I got someone's dirty, stanky, smelly foot in my face, did I tell everyone about that? I should loop everyone in on that story.
Yeah.
Super fast. Okay, you guys. This
Dirty stanky.
literally the worst day of my life. So I like to go to hot Pilates. I like to go early and I like to sit in the front. Okay. I just like to sit in the front because I like to stare at myself when I do the movements. Sorry, sue me. And so I always have to go to the bathroom right before I start class because I want to feel free. I want to feel open and ready. So I'm waiting for the bathroom. It's taking forever. This girl comes out. So I'm like running late to class because there's only one stall. I'm waiting. I think that this girl was like changing after the class before. Whatever. It doesn't matter. So I'm running late to class. What do I have to do? I have to sit in the back row. So there's 3 rows. I'm in the back. I'm like, this sucks, but it's fine. I'm just going to move on. Like, it's going to be good. We're going to have a great class. This girl comes in late to class and she's wearing sneakers, which you're supposed to be barefoot. You're not even supposed to have socks on. Like we don't need to have sneakers in class. So I'm assuming she'd never done it before. So I don't fault her. I feel like an instructor, someone needed to tell her. Anyways, she takes a spot directly in front of me. I'm like, cool, awesome. That's fine. Whatever. The more the merrier. She takes off her sneakers. And I'm like, this girl must have ran to class because the stench that was radiating in the hot Pilates from her sneakers and her dirty socks that were still on her feet that are now directly in front of my face because we're doing planks. I'm like planking, her feet are here. I'm like, no, I mean, it was like, what is she going to do? Like, it's not, she clearly didn't know, or maybe she didn't care. I don't know. I'm not going to make anyone ever feel bad. I just had to stick it out. I just had to sit there in like a child's pose for half the class with a towel over my face because I was so disturbed by the stinky, dirty, nasty, smelly, wretched horrors in front of me. So that was a little bit about my class last week. And just a quick little tip for anyone going to a hot Pilates class, like clean your feet before you go because like you will have your feet in people's face. Like just, be with your surroundings, please. Anyway.
It's like when you take a yoga class and they tell you to brush your teeth beforehand because you're going to do a lot of breathing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was traumatizing. So that happened. Class was good. I was tired. And then I came home. I was ready to go. Alyssa and I were slotted to start the pod at 11. Okay. I'm like, oh, perfect. It's like 10:20. Omar and I were like, let's go get coffees. He wanted to go to Dunkin'. I reserve my weekends for small business coffee shops because I have a little bit more time to like go in. I'll wait. Maybe I'll sit. Maybe I'll just
What
have
does he get at Dunkin'?
He gets a black iced coffee.
Okay, they have good iced coffee with
That's what
light cream and sugar, it just slaps like no other.
Yeah. Well, I was like, oh, okay. So we did that. It's still 10:30. I still have 30 minutes. Like, let's go to a small business coffee shop where I can get like a matcha, something fun. So I find this one that I was like, oh, maybe there's another coffee shop that opened up that's called Light Heart that we are like obsessed with, and it's always got like a line out the door. I'm like, hey, don't have time for that because I have to pod, but I'll go to this other one that's close by that, maybe they're feeling the heat from Light Heart being open. I'm gonna support them, make sure that they feel, good. I will not mention who it is because I'm gonna give them the grace that I caught them on a bad day. I do not smash small businesses. In fact, I'm like there to support. But I walk up and I'm like, "Hi, I want a strawberry matcha." She's like, "Okay." I'm like, "Okay." There's
She's
not a
like,
lot for that.
you.
I know, she's like, "You and your matcha." So, it was weird vibes from the get-go. She had like there was like a whole case of like scones and yummies, and I was like, "Ooh, like what are the flavors in there?" And she was like, "Ham, cheese, berries, cheese." And I'm like, "I'll take a ham and cheese. We're going to move on." I'm like, "Cool, cool, cool, whatever." So I order, and there's a lot of people sitting down drinking coffees in there, but like the rest of the room was pretty empty. I'm like, okay, this should take like 5 minutes max. Like, I'm going to be good to go. And then I sit down, and then I look over and I make eye contact with the stack of cups that they have with labels that are not made, that were clearly previous orders to mine. And I'm like, oh my God, maybe someone just placed like a really big order. That's weird. Like, they didn't seem like they were busy. Like, there's no one in here. So I'm like, okay, cool, cool, cool. I sit down. People start coming in because they were apparently sitting in their car because they were waiting for so long, which again, I didn't realize because they weren't in there. They're coming in. Hey, what's the status of my coffee? The girls were being so rude. They're like, "We're working on it." I'm like, "What?" Literally being so rude. I'm like, "Am I in New Jersey? Like, why are you guys being so like, we're down, we're handling it?" Like, I was like, "Oh my God, what is going on? Like, what?" So people are coming in, they're checking. Some guy comes in, he's like, "I'm just gonna go." The lady's like, "He's leaving, just throw it away." And I'm like,
Ah,
so then 25 minutes later, poor Alyssa, she had to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. 25 minutes later, I get
my halo.
I know. I felt so bad. I got my strawberry matcha. She like just hands it to me. She's like, "Strawberry matcha." I'm like, "That's me." And then I go up there, she hands it to me. She doesn't apologize for it taking almost half an hour for one matcha. Like, there wasn't like, "Sorry, we're slammed." Like, I love that you're slammed. That's amazing. That's why I'm here, like, to support you. But I'm also like, okay, you can at least be like, "Hey, we're really slammed. Your matcha is going to take 30 minutes. Do you have the time to wait?" Or like be thankful after. I don't know. The vibes were so weird. I will say the matcha is fantastic. So I probably will go back, but I don't like the bad vibes. So I'm really hoping that I can catch them again and, it not be a shit show.
Yeah, I have actually had that happen before at a Starbucks where you get in and they were like, "I'm so sorry. It's going to take like over 15 minutes." And it's like, "Oh, okay. That's okay. I'm going to wait."
Tell
Anyway,
me. Like, be
yeah.
like, "Oh my gosh, like we are so slammed. That is the best news in the world. I actually don't have time to wait, so I'm gonna run." Or like, I'll sit there and wait. Idiots. I hated it. I was fuming. But now we're here and I'm late and I can't wait to talk about cholesterol.
Oh my God. Well, did you get whole
After I
milk?
just downed a ham and cheese croissant.
I know,
Mm.
but you know what? You worked out. It's a Sunday. You got to have balance. I am really struggling with balance with the gluten thing. I don't know. I don't know. I might have to go back to being gluten free because I have no self control, you guys. I went to a baby shower yesterday. Whoo, there was a lot of gluten. I had multiple rounds of gluten, you guys. It was like, "Oh, and don't forget a cookie on your way out." Oh, okay. I didn't just stuff my face full of pastries and bagels and sourdough bread. Like, it was
I mean, that
bad.
is the whole point of a baby shower is to support the baby.
Yeah, it was a good one. Let me know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on games at baby showers? Because first of all, we were like sitting there for a while, like all the little cliques of people that don't know each other. And I was like, oh, this is going to be like kind of lame if there's no games because I want to interact with the other ladies and it's just hard to interact sometimes in different settings. And
Mhm.
so when there were games, it was really fun and we all got to like laugh and pair up in different groups and stuff. But I know a lot of people are anti games.
I personally am not a big game girly. Like, I'm good with everyone just sitting around, drinking, having fun. I like when people pass around like a piece of paper and you can like do a checkbox and then like they say at the end, like, oh, who got this right? Like, who got that? Like, I like those kind of
Me
games
too.
for myself. But on the flip side, I've been to baby showers where they have like the crazy fun, like silly, goofy, crazy games. And like I have a lot of fun doing them. I just don't know if I would have them at my baby shower because they're just not my vibe.
Yeah, it was fun. They did one game that I've never played, and it was like it was kind of like beer pong, but the cups were covered by a diaper and they each had different points labeled on them. But
Oh,
everyone got really into that, and it was just kind of fun and silly and adult game. Then they did the diaper sniffing one.
see, I don't like the diaper sniffing one just because I think personally it's disgusting.
It is really gross,
Like, imagine
but
this cute baby shower with all the flowers, all the pastels, and you're like, sniff this dirty dookie diaper and tell me if you think it's Reese's Pieces or Snickers. I'm like, ew.
dirty dookie diaper. Can you not?
That is what the vibes bring to the table.
Yeah, well, apparently the girl, she's from Mexico and she'd never played that game, so she really specifically wanted to play that game. So
It's
it's kind of funny and it's just so like individual and I love a sensory game. I don't know if I would play that game either because we literally had a nurse with us and she was like, "I deal with this all day long, but something about this game is disgusting." Like
yeah, it is.
it was tough, but it's a good little, mind brain. So I don't know. We'll be thinking, but I know I like a little game. I like a little bring people together. LOL. This is silly and dumb, but
What do
fun.
you think about the measure the mom's belly game?
Ugh, I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I actually despise it.
Yeah, I've done it and like I over measured
Yeah.
and then it's like you offended the mom. Or they're like, you thought I was this big? And I'm like,
Yes.
"Ugh, I don't know.
It just seems like an offensive game.
I
It's an
know. I think
unnecessary one.
it's hilarious if it's a very small group of like really close friends and family. But yeah, the time I did it, I just felt like I offended. It was tough. It was a tough one.
It's
We
not.
like had this one baby shower where you had to like cut out paper and make a bra from it, like a nursing bra.
Oh.
And then everyone had to do a fashion show with it and it was hilarious.
Oh, that's cute.
I've never seen such a game, but people get real creative, you guys.
People love a game. I love a bachelorette game, I will say.
At a bachelorette, or you mean a
Yeah.
bridal shower?
At a bachelorette.
Oh my god, yeah, those are good.
We can talk about those another day. Today we need to talk about cholesterol.
So, Amanda, why don't you tell us a little bit about your labs, function health, like how that went?
Yes.
Because at first you passed out, then you had to go back for more labs.
Everyone knows that I passed out and it was traumatizing. And if you don't know, then you need to go back like to January episode and listen to that if you want to hear something traumatizing. So, function health, I was really excited to do it, besides the fact that I hate needles, which we all have established now.
This is a
And
collab, by the way.
it is a collab. So, shout out to Function Health. Thank you for working with me. I love you. And I was just really excited because I've never done anything like this. I don't really go to the doctor normally. I don't go to like a health anything like naturopath. I just don't do it. I love it. I mean, I have Alyssa and I ask her a lot of questions, but probably not as much as I should. But I feel like there have always been little things within my body that I'm like, that's probably not right, or like doesn't feel normal. I don't know. It's like, let's just go get it all checked out, do all the things, and see what we come back with. So it's very interesting because you go in for your first round of labs and it's up to 10 to 12 vials of blood. Okay. So it's a lot. And then the next day you start to get information back to you. And the way that they pass it back, I think, is very user friendly. Obviously, I don't know anything when it comes to the labs, but they have an AI system that will help like deliver the information. Or if you're like, I'm confused about this, break it down for me, it'll break it down. So it'll go into 3 groups. So in range, out of range, and other. So it'll start automatically filing all of your information by category into what range they are. So you can easily see what is out of whack and what you should be looking into, which I think is really nice. So you do your first round of labs, they start all of that, start filing off the information, and then you go in for your second round of labs, and it's a completely different lab situation. I mean, the blood work is the same, but they're looking for different things, I guess. And then it goes in and files off the rest of the information. So it makes it really, really easy to see. The only thing for me personally was that anytime something shows as out of range, I'm like, this is a 911. Do I need to go to the hospital? Like, what do you mean out of range? What's going on? What's going on? So lucky for me, I have Alyssa and Paul that I can ask questions to. I am going to go to my personal doctor and get a few more tests done just to finalize a couple of things that I had questions on. But I do think that it's super helpful for catching signs that maybe you missed, or things that are levels that are high that you might not normally know, and just a lot of different areas that could be preventative for the future, which is what I would love to work on.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. It gives you so many different labs, like
Yeah,
a lot
a lot.
of labs that doctors do not typically order, such as insulin and a couple that we're going to talk about today when it comes to cholesterol. And it was great. You got to look at your thyroid. You got to look at if your body has heavy metals. You got to look at just so many different layers that we can look at with your body. And then I loved the AI feature. It's like, okay, based on my lab results, what do you recommend? What am I doing to, cause these to be higher? What can I do to lower these? It also gives you top 5 supplements that you should take to, help out your labs, as well as foods you should eat, foods you should avoid.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really helpful. I personally, for my training, our functional numbers are even more specific than theirs. So when theirs said, oh, it's a normal range, for some of my training, it was still out of range. We want it to be even more optimized. But it is more optimal numbers than traditional blood labs. So I did like that. And I just think that we are learning so much, and doctors are going to hate everybody because we're all going to come in and be like, what's this? What's this? But I mean, this is what it's about. This is about preventative medicine, and we are learning and we are inquisitive about all of these different things. And it's time that we get these numbers explained and can do these preventative measures. So I am a huge fan and advocate for this. I know it's a lot of blood. All of the phlebotomists were like, when Amanda passed out, they're like, oh, it's a functional health lab, wasn't it? Because apparently that happens quite often.
This
It's
is asked
just,
for so much at one time. And I mean, so many people are just not used to giving that, which maybe I could have spaced it out. I'm sure that you could like go in one day, go in the next day, maybe. But I mean, for me, I'm like, just get it done.
yeah, exactly. And so I don't know. And it went good the second time for you. So that's what matters.
And we
And
did
Amanda,
the time because I laid down. So
mhm,
if you're a passer outer or a fainter during the blood work, ask for a lay down area and then bring like a little flask of orange juice.
yeah, I think that's a good tip. So I guess when it comes to your labs, we're not going to talk about all of the out of range ones. There are a couple markers that we're going to have her get retested just to make sure there's nothing going on. But it's probably a fluke, a normal. She was getting over a cold and whatnot.
I feel like there are so many benefits to this program and very exciting. I love diving into this. The only thing that was tough for me was getting the out of range and going into a spiral of like, oh my God, so I have cancer, or like thinking like the worst case scenario because you don't know how to explain it otherwise. And the test will say, oh, it's probably because of this, and maybe cancer, like at the very bottom. In very crazy scenarios, this could lead to cancer. And you're like, that's me, like it's easy to let yourself spiral when it comes to looking at your own blood work, especially when you're like me and you have no idea what any of it actually means. So I do think that if you are going to do this, I would say it's really, really, really crucial to work with your doctor to make sure that you're getting these labs explained to you properly.
I totally agree. So if you are going to go get these labs in, I would schedule 2 weeks later after your second lab rounds an appointment with a naturopath, a doctor, or a functional health practitioner. Like we go over blood lab results all the time.
Mhm.
So mad helping. If you ever need anything, they're great and they will walk you through everything about what the next steps are and what else you should get tested and the whole shebang. So I do miss that part of this. It's like, okay, here's your labs. Now what? And of course, traditional doctors are not really going to go into anything deeper than, eat healthy, exercise, and in reality, it's like, okay, what exactly does she need to eat, drink? What's missing here? The stress, whatnot. So I like the idea of getting these labs done and then scheduling an appointment with someone who's going to really help you with your next steps. Because otherwise, what's the point? So yeah, when it came to your labs, it said you were a year and a half younger than your actual age. So that's really cool to hear.
And I just want to note that once I get my Botox back, like I feel like it's going to be a hard 2 years younger.
Oh
I
my God. I don't think so, but that's, very personal. So good call. Your out of range ones that we're going to talk about today, we have apolipoprotein B, otherwise known as ApoB, and yours was high. LDL particle number, yours was high. And yeah, basically the cardiac markers. And I know that there's so much information out there. And it's like, oh, eggs were bad, eggs are good. What is cholesterol? Why does this matter? And so I'm going to go over that today.
So let's start off strong with a question from yours truly. Give us a little breakdown on cholesterol. Like, what is it? What is it not? I don't know anything about it. Lead us in.
Okay, so the body makes different molecules. So we have sugars, we have fats, we have proteins, and cholesterol is a waxy, fatty like substance that your body makes. And it's actually a huge building block that our body makes to help aid with tons of important jobs. But one of the major things that I want to point out is that cholesterol in our body is made from the liver. So people think that we get a majority of our cholesterol from food sources, but that's really not the reality. Only a tiny bit comes from our food, but the rest the body makes naturally and also responds to. So, say you are eating a diet high in cholesterol, your liver is supposed to respond and not make as much cholesterol. But cholesterol is so important because it makes hormones. So this is why it's huge for women. And I hate when it's like, oh, we need to lower cholesterol. Like, don't eat foods with cholesterol. We need it to make hormones, you guys. So estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, they're all made from cholesterol. And this is a huge reason why we actually don't want our cholesterol to be too low in the body. It also is used to make vitamin D from sunlight. So that is a huge thing as well. Every cell in our body has an outer layer made from cholesterol. So it is involved in everything. And then for digestion, bile, which is something that comes from the gallbladder and it really helps you digest your fats, that is also made from cholesterol. So that's, digestion, our cells, our hormones, everything that you see and need needs cholesterol, and your body builds with it every single day for all of these things. So it's a huge component of our health.
Okay. Love it. I love all of that. Thank you for the breakdown. Can you fill us in on where cholesterol can start to go wrong?
Yes, so cholesterol itself, essential, but the cholesterol transport system is where problems can happen. So cholesterol, it doesn't just float around your blood by itself, but it has to be carried by things called lipoproteins. And that's where in your blood labs, you'll see LDL. So that is a delivery truck that takes cholesterol from our liver, because that's where it's made, to the tissues. And this can really increase when your body is inflamed or stressed or lacking vitamin D, obviously, because when our body's lacking vitamin D, our cholesterol is like, hey, we need to make more and do this. And so it's going to get higher. So sometimes LDL is called the bad cholesterol. But realistically, it's not. It's a delivery truck. But it's just something that if it's high, it's kind of indicating that your body is responding to something. So LDL rising is often a signal about whether metabolism, inflammation, or repair needs. And so our body is responding to that. And so, since diet is often less than 25% of the puzzle, because over 75% of cholesterol is made in the liver, diet is not the answer for 100% of it. It's like that is a piece of the puzzle, but that's not going to be the main thing.
Okay.
So we can talk more about that in a bit as well. But another transport molecule is called HDL. And this is known as our good cholesterol, quote unquote. And this is like a cleanup truck. So it's going to bring that cholesterol back to the liver for recycling. And one thing that doctors don't often test is actually the particle sizes of LDL. And this is something that's so cool and that we really need to look into further, and something that was on your functional health labs. So, LDL comes in different sizes. There's large and fluffy LDL particles, and you can think of those as like light and buoyant and less likely to stick to your arteries. But then there's also small, dense little LDL particles that can penetrate artery walls and is strongly linked to inflammation and insulin resistance. So, two people can have the same LDL number, but a very different risk depending on the particle size. And
Okay.
so that was kind of what sparked me to want to talk about this today, because you had, some small, dense LDL particles. And so I wanted to talk about that and why it's important that we look at these numbers. So typical cholesterol labs will just say cholesterol, triglycerides, HDL, LDL, and yours looked at the particle sizes, small, dense LDL particle number, and then ApoB. And that was one of yours that was high as well. And ApoB is a protein on those LDL particles. So higher ApoB means more particles that can enter artery walls.
Well, that's not chic.
It's not chic.
I just want to sidebar really quick. You keep saying that LDL is a delivery truck, and I think that that's really cute because there's an actual LDL freight company that does
There you go.
so, now call LDL freight for your deliveries, LDL for your deliveries of your cholesterol as well.
Thank you.
Okay, I feel like this is all really helpful. So I think that we should now know what can raise our cholesterol. So that way we can know what to avoid.
Okay, so I know I said diet is only one piece of the puzzle. So we do want to look at that. We want to look at if you're eating a lot of processed foods, refined carbs and sugars. So, bread, naked carbs that don't have a protein, fat, and fiber with it, just sugary items, but also lifestyle. So, are you sedentary or are you moving? Do you have any hormone or endocrine disruption that we need to look at? How is your stress? Chronic stress and poor sleep can definitely contribute to higher cholesterol. And then liver and bile congestion. So, if you have poor detox, then you're going to have cholesterol issues because if your liver's congested, how are you going to learn if if your liver needs to make more cholesterol or less? It can't focus on all of it, you know?
Okay.
What can people actually do to help lower this cholesterol? We want to do what we've been talking about this whole time. It's not just about diet, it's about rest, stress reduction, exercise, lifestyle. So, eating whole, real foods, prioritizing protein and fiber, reducing those refined sugars, moving daily, walking is incredibly powerful, and supporting your liver and bile flow. So, hydrating. Eating bitter foods is a really good one. That's why I love arugula. And then having daily bowel movements. That is the best way to make sure that you are detoxing all of these things that we need to get rid of. And a lot of people struggle with constipation. And it's like, oh, this can definitely be contributing to higher cholesterol levels, liver detox issues, whatnot. So that's definitely something to work on if you're struggling with that.
Not me.
And managing your stress and your sleep are huge. Yeah,
Well,
hold
you
on.
missed when I said not me about the bowel movements. You just skated right over that.
Oh, yeah, you don't struggle with, bowel movements?
Not even in the slightest.
I know, we are good with our bowel movements. That is one thing that we've never struggled.
Everyone's been dying to know, but
So
that is
many of my clients will not go to the bathroom for a week, and I just could not.
I just couldn't imagine.
I could not imagine. So just to recap everything, should you stop eating eggs because they technically have higher cholesterol? No. Eggs should not be feared. We love a little bit of dietary cholesterol, and that is not going to be the issue. It's if you're eating donuts 90% of the time. Okay, we're not going to blame the eggs. We're not going to, it's when you have terrible sleep habits, you're stressed to no end, and then you're eating eggs. Like, sorry.
It's those damn eggs.
It's not the eggs. So, what can we do about higher cholesterol in the body? So, your body tightly regulates cholesterol, like I said, from your liver. So, if you're eating cholesterol, like from eggs, your liver usually makes less to balance it out. For most people, eggs can actually raise your HDL. So, your good cholesterol, the protective cholesterol, the recycling trucks, and don't meaningfully harm or raise the LDL. And eggs also provide choline, which supports your liver and bile flow, which we just said is key for cholesterol metabolism. So, this is why your body is not just struggling from eating eggs.
First, I do want to ask, in addition to people being scared of eggs for their cholesterol, are there any other foods that people are secretly scared of because they think it'll raise their cholesterol that actually are not that bad for you? So we've been doing a lot of egg talk, and I want to know what else is out there.
So the egg talk is so big to me because it's such a great whole food out there that we feared for so long. A lot of the other foods that people are scared of with high cholesterol are actually bad foods.
Mm,
So
okay.
cakes, cookies, donuts, whatnot. One thing is like oils, olive oils, but those should all be used in moderation. But the egg thing was just crazy to me, and it's interesting to learn that eggs are actually so protective and nutritious for you, but we feared that cholesterol component for so long. So I just like to clear that up always. But typical things like refined carbs and sugars, so, cakes, cookies, whatnot, those are going to spike insulin. So insulin tells the liver to make more triglycerides and bad quote unquote put cholesterol, so that LDL. So you do still want to focus on reducing those refined carbs and sugars. And then the ultra processed foods, those cause inflammation and oxidative stress, which leads to more LDL again. And then sedentary lifestyle. So, are you moving? Are you walking? Are you exercising and weightlifting? So important because movement helps your body to clear triglycerides and raise HDL. So, if you have no movement, you're going to have sluggish clearance of those lipids. The thyroid, your cortisol, sex hormones, they all regulate cholesterol production as well and clearance. So, making sure that those are in check. But then we have the poor sleep, chronic stress, those types of things. And stress is really number one here and is something that's so important to all my clients, to everything. You can be eating a great diet, you can be doing everything right. But if your stress is still high and your sleep is bad, then that's going to be raising your cortisol and doing that cycle of insulin resistance. It's going to worsen those lipid patterns. Chronic stress also raises your cortisol and it signals the liver to produce more cholesterol as a stress response, as a protective response. Those are all going to be so important. All of those things are what's really contributing to high cholesterol and your cholesterol not going down. Okay. What else you got?
Okay. So, one of my big questions, because I, aside from taking these tests, had no idea in my body that anything was high or low or had even an inkling that something could be wrong. So, how do you recommend that people know to even go to take these if they feel fine?
So, one thing with you in particular is that you don't eat the best always.
What a call out. Oh my God. I'm offended.
You already know this. And so sometimes I think these labs can be a really good wake up call. If you know that your diet is not optimal, maybe you're just feeling a little sluggish, maybe your typical labs from your doctor always come back normal, but you want to know your risks. Do you have a risk of diet and lifestyle factors in your life? We have had a grandpa who had, a triple bypass on his heart. And we've had a lot of other things in our family that we, want to look out for these issues and what to change. And so I think it's a good wake up call. But, if you're feeling great and you don't have any predispositions in your family or anything that you're looking out for, then you don't have to do these labs. But I do think it's a great thing to look at optimal numbers. It's a good wake up call for diet, and it can show you if you have any hidden things such as like heavy metal detox issues, liver congestion, hormone issues, thyroid function. It tells you everything. And so it can just help you. If there's one little screw loose, it can help you find that screw. So, how do you feel about all of this, Amanda?
I'm so glad someone finally asked me. No, no, I do think that it was a helpful wake up call. I have been, on my health journey that started in October of 2024. So it's been 4 solid months. 5.
2025.
2025.
I'm like, that's more than 4 months.
October of 2025. So I've been on my health journey for 5 solid months. So I do think that this is a very good wake up call because the fact that I'm still getting these levels that are a little bit stressful for me, it's a good wake up call to realize that I am always stressed out. Like I'm just like one big stress ball that like needs to be released, but I like can't figure out how to do it. So I think that the stress was a good call out. And then I think knowing that I have had poor eating habits for 99.9% of my entire existence, and I've always felt fine. So I never felt like I needed to look into it. But I think that seeing it on paper and being like, hey, this is what it's raising, this is what it's raising, this is what it's raising. You need to get a grip on your shit so that way it doesn't get worse is really helpful to see now that I'm actually taking this all into consideration and even caring about it.
Yes. So I just looked into your function health and I said, what can I help to help optimize my heart related markers? And it says one of the main things that you can do is increase your soluble fiber. So focusing on oats, lentils, beans, chia seeds, and leafy greens. And those can help lower those LDL and ApoB numbers. So
Okay.
I feel like you don't incorporate, beans and chia seeds and leafy greens in your everyday life.
actually have been very big into chia seeds for the
Oh.
last 2 weeks, I would like to note. Um, I do have a question though. How many chia seeds am I supposed to eat? Because, like, they're so small, you can't really taste them, that I feel like I can put, like, a shit ton. I like to eat them with my cottage cheese, and I can pour a lot in there, but I'm like, "Is this too much? Is this not enough?" Like, what is the chia seed ratio for one snack?
So daily you want to do about 1 to 2 tablespoons, which is a lot.
I feel like I'm pouring more than that into my meal.
Wait, how much are you putting in?
I, like, smothered I have those little rice crackers that I eat with peanut butter, and I, like it's like a mound on there because 'cause I'm like, "Well, I wanna make sure that I'm eating enough."
Okay,
I'm glad
just
we're talking about
try
this.
not to eat more than 2 tablespoons a day. I
Fair.
mean, actually, it says 5 tablespoons is considered maximum and
Oh,
excessive.
okay, I feel like 5 tablespoons is, like, a good max.
That's a shit ton, and
Yeah.
it will potentially cause bloating and digestive upset, especially diarrhea. So, just FYI there, and
Calcium on 2, noted.
it is still a fat, so it's just something to be considered, like but it is gonna really help keep you full. So that's something I love about it. But yeah, just that's a lot of chia seeds, sis.
Holy crap.
But I love the idea of you incorporating beans and lentils and leafy greens just because I feel like you don't get a lot of those in. So,
What kind of beans? Like, pinto?
yeah, pinto,
Anything?
black,
Just
great
green?
northern, there's a lot of them.
Okay.
Beans can also be upsetting to the digestive system. I don't know if you've heard of the
We
little
all know
rhythm.
the beans song, Alyssa. We're adults.
Yes. So that's because if beans are not prepared properly, then it can be a little bit toxic. And they have something called lectins that they can release. And that is something that they use in the wild to protect themselves from getting eaten. And so making sure your beans are pressure cooked. My favorite beans that you can buy at the store are called Eden Foods, like EDEN foods, and those are pressure cooked and can be a lot easier on the digestive system.
Okay.
The next thing that your Function Health says is to emphasize healthy fats, so using extra virgin olive oil, walnuts, continuing with those flax seeds, chia seeds, avocados. Okay? You think
That
you can do that?
I can handle that.
Boosting omega intake, which I just got you an omega with CoQ10 in it. Both are really good to help lower those unhealthy numbers. But eating more fatty fish is the best way to get it through whole foods. So mackerel,
Sure.
herring, anchovies. You just had a bite of,
I just tried an anchovy. It was intense.
yeah. Try something else. They have so many cute little canned fish now.
I know. I'm not a big canned fish girl, nor am I really a fish girl. So that's been a struggle for me, but I will try to step it up.
Lastly, it says limiting refined carbs and sugars, and then lifestyle hacks, regular exercise, limiting alcohol, managing stress. There you go.
I love when things just say managing
I
stress.
know.
Like, thank you so much. I would love to be able to do that. That's really helpful of you to know.
Yeah. So, one thing, there's so many different things that you can do that it can feel overwhelming. So, just try to pick one thing. And I like that you're exercising. I think that's such a helpful tool.
Yeah.
I also like waking up and not grabbing your phone or going to sleep without your phone, making sure you are taking a few deep breaths every single day. Like, that is such a good nervous system hack that I try to do once a day, just focusing on my breathing for 1 freaking minute.
Yeah.
It does such a great thing. But there's also other things like journaling. I think brain dumping would be so good for you. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
You just take a notepad and every day for 5 minutes, you just freaking dump anything that's on your brain and you close
Yeah.
it up and you don't have to think about it for the rest of the day or night.
That's not a
So,
bad idea.
yeah, it does take work to do those stress reducing practices. For me, I that's one of the reasons why I go to acupuncture, because I know that it's going to force me to focus on my breathing, clearing my mind. Bleh. It's an exercise.
I love it. I think that this was super helpful, and I hope that the girlies or anyone out there listening to this takes this as a little wake up call to go get yourself checked out and make sure that you are on the right track and taking the right steps to make sure that you are a happy and healthy queen.
Yes. I guess I never talked about why cholesterol is bad. So before we end off, I will go off with cholesterol can be bad when it becomes oxidized. It can lead to inflammation, high blood sugar, and insulin resistance. And it can unfortunately stick to artery walls and trigger plaque formations, which obviously that can lead to heart disease. So it is something very serious. And if you want to get it checked out, make sure to get those particle numbers and ApoB checked out as well, because that will give you a little insight into how likely, these numbers are to contribute to heart disease.
And I do want to end off just saying that I know we talked a lot about function health and that the labs were intimidating and scary, especially because I hate needles. But truly, I do think that, and this is like, yes, it was a collab, but it's not, you know, I don't actually have to post anything about it. I don't know if you have to say that, but whatever. This is a collab, but truly, like from the bottom of my heart, I am very grateful that I went and did it because I didn't have to do it. This is like a non-posting collab. It was try it out, see if you like it. I loved it. I couldn't recommend it more. I'm very grateful for all of the results that I got back, and I'm excited to see what's next.
Did they give you a little code or anything that you could give people?
They did give me a code. I will link it on our stories when this goes live.
Well, pivoting quickly. Now that we've cleared cholesterol's name, let's talk the people who are actually the real villains, the traitors.
The real stress risers in our
Yes.
life.
We forgot to talk about this last time, but we are watching it and we are here to dish. I know we're running out of time, but we are loving traitors.
I would like to say that I am not a Traitors girly. Like, I didn't used to watch it. I specifically am only watching it because Alyssa forced me to, so we can talk about it on the podcast. And I'm very grateful that I started watching it because the show is so bonkers and I love watching it. And the cast right now is so good. Like, I feel like they have a good, sneaky little cast.
Truly, last season was better, in my opinion, with the cast. Like, I'm obsessed with Gabby. I'm obsessed with Rob from Survivor. And Pilot Pete blew me away, but it's still a really fun cast this time with all of the housewives. Colton Underwood is, sparking a lot of discourse.
The man's a mess. I don't like his vibe.
I know. It's tough because he is a known stalker to his ex.
Allegedly.
And,
We have to say that, I think.
well, he got a restraining order, so I
Well,
think case closed. But allegedly,
we just have to say it for the podcast also, so he doesn't sue us.
But he, has had a bad rap. And so people are not liking that he's, getting this claim to fame. It's interesting. It's all very interesting. Michael Rappaport was insufferable. I would remove him immediately if I was a faithful. So I'm glad that they did. Spoiler.
Yeah, this will be spoilers. There's been a couple of crazy things that have happened. He did say something incredibly offensive to Colton, which I think was the nail in the coffin for his removal from the show. I was very taken aback by his comment. He keeps claiming that he didn't mean any offense, but it was so clearly directed at Colton being in the closet for his whole life, keeping that secret, and then finally letting it out. And he was like, "You would know how to keep a secret more than anyone here." And I'm like, I like Colton? No. But is that appropriate or okay to say to anyone? No. So I am very glad that he is gone. I am very excited for this week's episode where they are going to have the banquet because I heard that it is T.
Yeah. I mean, killing in plain sight and doing all of those things is crazy. I cannot believe Colton went up to Lisa Rinna and tried to out her as a traitor, but also befriend
Form an
her.
alliance with her.
I kind of thought that was a badass move. Like, he knows that she's a traitor. I don't know how he just knows.
I think he is just throwing stuff at the wall until it sticks, because he did kind of the same thing. He didn't try to form an alliance with Tiffany as a traitor, but he was diehard for her being a traitor. He got everyone to form against her. He was wrong. He did the same thing to Michael. He was wrong again. He's just going to keep going down the line. Obviously, we all know that Lisa is a traitor. So we know, but I think that he's really just like going down until he finds one that actually is.
What did you think about Rob voting against Lisa Rinna? And how do you feel about Rob? Because, whoa, he's
You're making me blush. He is great. I think that he's a really good player of the game. Like,
yeah.
if watching it, I see how people can think that Lisa Rinna is a traitor, because she's not acting like Lisa Rinna. She's being very defensive. She's being weird. But I think that Rob, because a lot of people don't know his personality, can kind of go any way. And then he is being so loyal to the faithfuls to the point where he put Lisa's name down, which was shocking to me. But I think that he is playing the game really well. And I do like that he stuck up for Ron. There's been a lot coming out about Ron. I do think that he was treated unfairly. There's been a lot of talk that Dorinda has been very disrespectful to him, and that was not shown. And that's why he snapped at her, because I was like, well, Ron's mean. He like yelled at Dorinda. But apparently there's a lot coming out that didn't show the behind the scenes, that Dorinda was not being very respectful to him. And I feel like they kind of just put a target on his back and made him an outcast. And I think that even if he is a traitor, he shouldn't have to sit alone at a table and eat his food. Like, it was not cool. It was not right. And I'm very happy that Rob stuck up for him at the end and kind of told everyone, like, you're being up right now.
I know. I was so sad that Ron was getting, all the heat on him on purpose from the traitors, kind of, by like not eliminating him to kind of pin it on him.
Mm-hmm.
It was so sad. And then when he was like getting removed at the round table and he just went around and complimented every single person, it just broke my heart in half. And I love Rob for voting for Lisa Rinna. And he's like, Robbie Bobby is in trouble. And I died.
Yeah, I do hope that him and Maura get together, because I just think that they would be a stunning couple.
They
It's
are
like
stunning.
sickening. It's so disrespectful how cute they are when they are in those little challenges and he like picks her up and stuff. And I'm like, you guys need to date. Like, what are you doing? And they're both from Love Island. Like, I just think that it's so cute. So I hope that I ship them. I hope that they stick together.
I don't see the chemistry, but I do think they're just so cute that I'm for it.
Whatever. I see
But
it.
yeah, we're excited about Traitors. We know we're over time, but we wanted to just bring that up. If anyone, is watching Tell Me Lies, it's a very different story. It's very upsetting. I'm a little upset over the storyline this season. It's a little too dark for your girl.
Oh.
But I can't look away. It's just one of those toxic shows that I can't stop watching. But I am all for Traitors. I think it's great.
I agree. Okay, well, that is our episode, and we thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Talk soon. Very good.
Okay.